In today's review and discussion of Breaking Cinema, we will be discussing Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 stars Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle, Scarlett Johansson, and Mickey Rourke. Iron Man 2 was a complete blast from the past. We saw this film a couple of years ago in the summertime of 2010 when it premiered, and we just loved it. And revisiting this film again was superb. It was well done. There's a lot of character development, a lot of story arc, and a lot of plots going on with Tony Stark and Iron Man itself. And it was just a fun film and pure nostalgia. What do you have to say, Dylan? Because I loved Iron Man 2. I really loved it.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Iron Man 2, I don't understand why so many people didn't like it. I heard them say, "Oh, this sequel sucks. It's terrible, and it's not as good as the original." I don't see what the problem is. I thought the action was superb. The characters were likable. Mm-hmm. The villain was just, I don't know what, I'm lost for words. He's just awesome.
Exactly. You know, I don't know why people hated Iron Man 2. I mean, I'm not discrediting the first Iron Man, but Iron Man 2 was that movie. I loved it way more than the first. There's a lot of action, a lot of things going on with Tony Stark, and really just a really well done, executed story from beginning to end. There's a lot of character development, a lot of, story development going on. There's a lot of conflict going on with Tony Stark this time around. It was just a well done film, and I don't really get the hate. I love this film. And this sequel, Tony Stark is well known. Stark Expo is, booming. He's starting off his father's legacy, continuing on that legacy. And with this in mind, there's some issues involved. You got the United States government, some politicians, some senators after him. You also got a rival called Justin Hammer, he's a real fucking prick. He's just a douchebag. He's real cocksucker. He wants these super Iron Mans. He wants these drones to take over and work for the military. Everyone's after Stark. They want the Iron Man suits, they want technology, and they want to confiscate everything and everything he's worked hard for and that he's inherited from his father. And you really feel bad for Tony. I mean, he's really declining. He's really, not motivated. He's really, health-wise, he's just lost. He's not there. Yeah. And I really, hated to see that, and I really rooted for him, and I wanted to get back up and kick some ass and take some names, and boy, does he kick ass and take names. We have Mickey Rourke's character, which is Whiplash. Whiplash is just a badass character. Once you see him at the racetrack between those two, they just kick major ass. Just crazy fun, and it's just kick-ass. I love the choreography, the cinematography, the editing. Everything with this sequel was well done and well paced and just really well executed.
Very much so. And what I love about Whiplash is that he has this personal vendetta against Tony.
Yes.
He, basically speaking, he wants the name, he wants the legacy taken from him. Basically speaking, he wants the bird.
Exactly, that's the bird. Tony's the bird. Stark Industries, Stark Expo is the bird. He wants all that. There's a backstory to both these characters. Both Whiplash and Stark have something in common. Their fathers worked for each other. Tony Stark's father, he wanted, to save humanity, to achieve greatness, and really to improve science and technology and civilization for everyone. He wanted to be the hero. He wanted to, do something good with technology and have a purpose with Stark Industries. While Whiplash's father, he worked for the Soviet Union, he worked for the communists back in the past, around, 50s, 60s era, and he got in trouble, he got busted, and then, a couple years later, Whiplash does the same. He arms the Iranians and other different types of people, and after everything that's happened with Whiplash and his family and Stark, using weapons and everything, destroying them, Whiplash is pissed, he wants revenge, and he wants the blood and suffering of 40 years on his family back at Stark. And it is just a mind-blowing film. There's a lot of entertainment, a lot of action value, and it really packs a punch. I definitely loved Iron Man 2. It was great. Something else I really liked too was Pepper Potts and Tony Stark. They really kicked it off, their chemistry. There's more to it now. Now they're legitimately becoming a couple. They understand each other. They communicate with each other. There's a lot of funny examples where they're arguing over certain things, you know, like going on vacation, or, you know, oh, is Tony gonna die? What he's gonna do? There's really a lot of those scenes, and I love that chemistry and that bond. Both Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr. work well on screen. They're a really fantastic couple, and I really love them, and I really care for them. And there's a lot of things going on with them. They're funny, you know, skeptical, and also, you know, just, you know, who knows? It's that type of relationship and that type of chemistry that I love to see on the screen. I also like, you know, Don Cheadle, he plays as Rhodey. Rhodey was Terrence Howard in the original Iron Man. I don't know what happened. There were some issues with that.
Yeah.
But, you know, Don Cheadle did all right, but I love Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard was Rhodey. He was that guy that always was pissed off, always asked, what the hell are you doing? What's going on? You know, he was that guy. And Don Cheadle, he didn't really deliver that, but I don't know what happened. There was issues with it, but there's really a lot of cool scenes, like, you know, when they both collide and they see what's happening, they team up. Oh, that scene is just badass. We're going to put that there for you guys, but it's just so badass when they kick ass and fight those drones and the explosions and everything.
Yeah, nice. Ready? Get down!
It's just so much fun. It's just a fun action sequence and a fun chemistry. And when they both fight, there's also when Tony's partying and drinking, having fun, he's just letting loose and, you know, pressing the ladies and blowing up a watermelon, blowing up some glass, and that really pisses off Don Cheadle's character because, you know, Rhodey is in this position where he works for the government. He's in the Air Force, and the government's watching everything, and they know that he's associated with Stark. And they want to confiscate the technology and take everything away. So he's in this predicament. What do I do? Do I let him fuck around, get drunk, or do I fight? And they fight, and it is just crazy.
Now, put that thing back where you found it before someone gets hurt. Sorry, pal, but Iron Man doesn't have a sidekick.
Sidekick this! Enough?
Natalie, Miss Potts. Oh, don't you Miss Potts me. I'm on to you. You know what? Ever since you came here,
Yeah.
And there's also more to it in this sequel with Mickey Rourke and Justin Hammer. Hammer Industries wants to take over. They want to legitimize themselves to be part of the government. They want weaponized government tools. They don't want independent tools like Tony Stark's weapons. They want everything to be controlled. And what happens between Mickey Rourke's character, Whiplash, and also Justin Hammer, with the way they talk and communicate collide, it really exposed political corruption and how, you know, in politics you can get anything you want.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really does.
Yeah, and let's just say, though, he doesn't care what Hammer wants. He doesn't.
He does not. He abuses Hammer's, you know, intellect, his, you know, his generosity, and also, you know, everything with him. He manipulates him to get him the laboratory, to give him technology to make drones, to make these robots against Stark, and just to completely destroy Stark and everything he has. And what happens is just amazing stuff. It's crazy. He was just a douchebag, wasn't he? Justin Hammer was just a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Really a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Real piece of work. But you know what? He got just desserts. He got arrested. They got him. Fuck him. I could not stand Just a Hammer, what a piece of crap. But
Yeah, all he wanted to do was just humiliate Stark over a press conference.
exactly, that was the whole thing. It was a Senate hearing that didn't go their way, and they wanted revenge, and long behold, Whiplash. But yeah, Whiplash was Mickey Rourke's character was this menacing, evil character. He has tattoos all over him. He has this deep Russian-rooted accent, and he was just a suspenseful, menacing person. And his suits and the way he, uses his whips, he's just badass. The special effects were well done. There was a lot of great special effects with the explosions, with Whiplash, and with the fighting sequences. The choreography was well done. It was really superb, and the storytelling overall was really just great. I loved seeing this new villain, this new greater force than what happened in the previous film. This guy is just a new threat, and he's just evil and a mad, evil genius. And a Russian, you can't trust a Russian. They're really bad motherfuckers.
Yeah, no
So
shit.
he's a real bad son of a bitch, and he's smart, he's intellectual, and he manipulates Hammer, and he just screws him over. And also, there's also some things with the politicians, the media. Everyone's just an asshole to Tony. And Dylan, you were saying why you couldn't understand that.
Yeah, one thing in this film, okay, like after Don Cheadle's character flies away with his prototype suit, one thing I don't understand is Nick Fury, Scarlett Johansson,
Right.
Pepper Potts, Agent Coulson, everyone was being just a fucking prick.
Everyone was a prick to him. They just couldn't stand him, and I understand why, because they want him to have his mental well-being and have a life and be a normal, stable person. And there's also the other things involved with the government and the military. They want that technology too. They don't appreciate superheroes at all. It doesn't matter if it's Marvel, DC. Society does not understand people like Tony Stark or anyone for that matter.
Yeah, nor do they trust him.
Exactly, and it's really sad to see, and it sucks. But I root for Tony Stark. I love Tony Stark. And it was just great. Talk about Samuel Jackson and Scarlett Johansson, Dylan.
Well, Nick Fury is Samuel Jackson, and Black Widow is Scarlett Johansson. Well, obviously, but the thing is, S.H.I.E.L.D. is basically this secret government organization that protects the world from terrorist threats or out-of-this-world threats. Basically, any threat in particular. And I think the reason why Nick and Scarlett and Coulson were assholes to Tony is because he was a rogue superhero, and in a way they don't really trust superheroes. They think take the law into their own hands.
Exactly. They want everything to be facilitated and run and programmed and financed by the United States government. They want big government in the superhero business. They want to have their own structure of government and superheroes together. They don't want independent rogues like Tony Stark. They want everything to be collided. And Tony faces predicaments of whether or not to join the Avengers or become part of the establishment of superheroes or just be his own person.
Yeah.
He faces a lot of those dilemmas. And after the situation with Don Cheadle and Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark is just fed up. His party's ruined. His birthday's ruined. He didn't get any. He didn't party. He didn't get drunk. He didn't get laid. And he's just sitting up on top of a donut shop. Just having having some donuts. And Nick Fury comes along.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut.
And they have the discussion of what's going on, what's happening in Tony Stark, what is really rooted with him. And we also get a big twist, which we'll discuss because this is a review and discussion. But nevertheless, we get Scarlett Johansson, and she's Black Widow. And let me tell you, she kicks ass, she's badass, and she is fine, and she's not bad on the outside. Trust me. Both Gwyneth and Scarlett were hot. They were very, very attractive.
Oh, yeah.
I have to say, I was really glued to the screen with them. They were very, very, nice, beautiful women, and they were also kick-ass women. They were really macho feminine. They kicked some ass, take some names, and it was just a pleasure to see. And also Jon Favreau, who makes a cameo in this film. He's the director, by the way. Also, he is Tony's chauffeur. He drives him here and there, and he's just a goof, and he just screws up so much. And, and when Scarlett Johansson in Hammer's Industries factory kicks those security guards' asses, he's like, "Oh, I kicked his ass. Look," and she's not there. He's just such a stooge.
Yeah.
And I love Jon Favreau to see him as both as a director of this film and also on screen. It was a treat to see. It's cool to see people on screen that are behind the film.
Oh yeah, I liked how it's funny. He goes, "I got one," and then all the other two, she got them all.
Exactly, exactly. It was just a fun film, and I loved revisiting the sequel. It was really a treat, and again, revisiting this film was fantastic. It was purely fun, and I just love it. I love this film. It really excels into the foreshadowed elements of the Avengers and Tony Stark in the Marvel Universe. It is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Just great.
Yeah, one little quick thing I want to mention is the whole asshole, everyone being an asshole to a Tony. I want to mention another thing.
Yep.
There's another part where Pepper Potts, ever since the birthday party, she's like, "That's it, fuck this guy, I'm running the company myself, I want nothing to do with him."
Exactly.
And I was like, what the hell?
I agree.
Dude.
There's a lot of those peaks and valleys of their relationship. There's a lot of peaks and valleys with their relationship, personally, psychologically, emotionally. And I like seeing that, but you know what? They resolve their differences, they love each other, and I look forward to seeing what happens more with them, because I really love those two characters. Gwyneth and Downey, again, really executed it well. They're really great on screen, and I just look forward to seeing more of them.
Yeah, and you will.
Yes, and also, we're going to mention that near the end of the film, which was really well done and fantastic, we're going to keep saying that, it was well done, there's also another film we're going to review, which is Thor.
Yes.
We're going to review and discuss Thor, because I can't wait to see that. I know you saw it back in 2011. I didn't see it with you. I just didn't bother, or I don't know what's going on at the time, but I just didn't see it with you. So it'll be cool for me to see Thor, because I haven't seen Thor.
Yeah. For Asgard!
Yep, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to...
You'll love Thor.
I can't wait to see Thor. I cannot wait. And that hammer was cool. It reminded me when we saw Iron Man 2 and the end sequence with Thor's hammer. Can't fucking wait.
Yeah.
It was just fantastic. I loved Iron Man 2. I definitely would recommend people revisit these MCU films, because they're just fantastic and just high quality.
Yes. So, without wasting any time, let's get on with the trivia.
Yes, we're going to get to some trivia. I'm going to start with the first one. This is Scarlett Johansson's third foray into the comic book films. Her previous comic book films were Ghost World, which I haven't heard, The Spirit, which was crap, in which her character worked for the Octopus, played by Samuel Jackson. In this film, Johansson is working again under Jackson as Nick Fury. Johansson had earlier exposed interest in playing Marvel superhero Moonstone. I haven't heard of Moonstone.
Neither have I. That was like my first time of hearing of a villain named Moonstone.
I'm not sure. You think she'll be up for it in the future?
I would actually be interested to see her playing as a villain role, but then again, having Black Widow replaced and playing her as a villain seems kind of, a twisted fuck.
Yeah, it would be like a mind fuck. That would be the best word to describe it. But yeah, we'll see. Hey, who knows? It might happen in the future, it might not. We don't know. There's so many things with Marvel and their films that they're making that it's like crazy how fucking long they make them. But
yeah,
it's Marvel. People love Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mickey Rourke's Oscar-nominated performance in The Wrestler was the main reason why the producers wanted him to play Vanko. If you haven't seen The Wrestler was a really great Oscar-worthy nominated film. It was about a broken man with really no family, no life. I can't really recall certain events, but I know he was just a broken down man, and he was on top of his career back in the day, but now in the present he was just a broken man and really down. But I love The Wrestler. Did you see The Wrestler?
No, I have not, but I heard you told me you highly recommend it.
Yes, it's an Oscar-nominated performance, and it was the main reason why they wanted Mickey Rourke as Vanko, because Mickey Rourke was really stellar and he did an excellent performance on that. So yeah, but I recommend The Wrestler. Check out The Wrestler, Dylan. It's fantastic. Came out a couple years back, but it's still up there. It's pure good cinema. It's different from this, but still, in its own right, it's fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
So, to prepare for his role as Ivan Vanko, Whiplash, Mickey Rourke paid a visit to Brikada prison in Moscow. I tried to incorporate the whole Russian philosophy. It's a culture of its own, and I really enjoyed doing the research and meeting the people, as they were very gracious there at the prison. Rourke also commented that Vanko's dialogue is in a Slovakian accent. I didn't know he actually visited Moscow in real life and actually got a sense of the prison and the people and the whole Russian belief, because you see in the beginning the whole aerial sequence, the wide shot of the atmosphere of Moscow. It's snowing, it's cold. It's really broken down in poor and poverty. But it was just great to see. I mean, I love the Russian aspect, and I didn't know he went into such detail with it. Did you?
No. In fact, it explains why, he was such a menacing villain.
Exactly.
And that's probably where he got the, mentality of being a Khan.
Exactly.
And a super villain, and I just say,
I just
that
loved it.
works
Mickey
well.
Rourke as Vanko, as Whiplash was fantastic. I loved what he did, and it's really interesting to see that he visited a fucking prison, and he met people, and he understood their psychology and how they interact with each other, their sociology.
I couldn't even think about doing that.
I couldn't do that. I would fucking piss myself.
No
man.
shit.
There's no fucking way.
You're dealing with communists, murderers,
Exactly.
rapists,
Exactly.
etc.
You're dealing with really bad people, but maybe we generalize and we think of it in a different way, but you know what? It was cool to see, this trivia and Rourke get this background information. And I had no idea that he pulled this off with the Slovakian accent. I mean, it's really fucking there. It's real. It doesn't seem like he's faking it or, doing or butchering it or not doing it professionally. He really makes the Slovakian accent work, and I just completely loved it. It was swell. Mickey Rourke did a superb job with the language and the philosophy in his character. The true nature that he did was just outstanding. You want to do the last two, sir?
I'll try.
Go ahead. Be my guest.
When Marvel first hired Samuel Jackson to play as Nick Fury in Iron Man's 1 and 2, they wanted to keep it very secret. They actually drove Samuel's car onto the middle of the set, and they surrounded it with dressing trailers so that no one could see him get out of the car and get into his character until the first Iron Man of 2008 was released in theaters.
I had no idea they really did that because, he does make an appearance in Iron Man, if I recall he does.
Yeah.
But, it's crazy how, they had to, get him to, be secretive and not expose himself to too much publicity and people around that shooting location and while they were, shooting their scenes. I mean, I had no idea they went through so much with that.
Neither did I.
But I think they... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Then I was just basically going to say it was also the first indication of where, we first introduced him to a post-credit scene, the very first post-credit scene, and when post-credit scenes were about to be a thing.
Yes.
And, by the way, I love post-credit scenes. But moving on, Samuel Jackson, I mean, I can't even imagine him trying to be secret. He's like a ghost in the darkness.
Exactly. When you think, when you think of the guy, an actor, Samuel Jackson, you think Samuel fucking Jackson. Everybody knows you in cinema, and to sign a contract and to be vigilant and lay low is really hard. Everyone loves Samuel Jackson. I mean, Samuel Jackson is just an epic actor. I mean, just him swearing, saying motherfucker. And
Motherfucker.
Exactly.
Motherfucker. Yeah, how come you college motherfuckers, motherfucker?
Exactly. Saying all those.
I love him.
I love Samuel Jackson, especially when he swears. He's just badass. But at any rate, Samuel Jackson's fantastic, and they want to keep it secret and lay low, which is difficult, but I'm glad they did because he's Nick Fury, he's Jules from Pulp Fiction, he's everybody. He's really everybody, and I love Samuel. He's just he's a well-established, amazing actor. Really an old-school legend.
Yeah, because suman wrap tastes like pumpkin pie, but I never know because I wouldn't eat the filthy motherfucker.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I just love him. Samuel Jackson, well done as Nick Fury, and I loved what they did with it. They really were professional about it, and
don't forget, say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
Exactly. Okay, I think we're kind of getting a little carried away with the Samuel Jackson love fest. If you could just continue on with the conclusion.
Oh, yes, please. I apologize, but I just can't help it. You know, Samuel Jackson with him. And anyway, okay. Writer Shan Black, who also did The Predator, recommended that Tony Stark's characterization be inspired by J. Robert Oppenheimer.
I think it's pronounced Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Sorry for the misspelling. The scientist who led the team that developed the atomic bomb, after witnessing his creation, destructive potential, Oppenheimer deframed himself as the destroyer of worlds and sank into depression.
Yes. Sean Black wanted to do analysis of Tony Stark. He wanted to compare him to this scientist who did the atomic bomb and tested out with the U.S. government. He wanted to show another side to Stark as this menacing foe, as to the atomic bomb inventor. He wanted to see that, Tony Stark's Iron Man and his technology was the destroyer of all worlds, as was the atomic bomb during the era of World War II.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the dead silence of the morning, at 5:29:45 Mountain War time, the Jornada del Muerto was bathed in an intense flash of a light that man had only seen from the stars.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
And I think that's really interesting that they did that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that Sean Black, pitched in, got involved with this idea, and wanted to do that. I don't know if they exactly did that. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll find out in Iron Man 3. But it was cool to see the guy from Predator say, "Hey, I want to make this guy, this destructor, this destroyer who makes this invention that is really a menace to society and to civilization and a big threat." I just loved it.
Yeah, that's
well done.
very, very, very well in depth and a very rich piece of interesting trivia.
Exactly. When you see the video that we're gonna show you, it really works and it really supports it, and you really think of Iron Man, the weapons and the technology, and Stark as something in a new way. He's supposed to be the greater good, follow his father's footsteps, but at the same time, he could also, be this man who's obsessed with, being famous, being the center of attention, having this technology, and really trying to do something good that could also be deadly, as we see in Iron Man 1 and 2.
Yeah. And one little quick fact.
Mm-hmm.
Did I also mention that the same narrativization by Robert Oppenheimer and the Become Death and Destroyer of Worlds was also the inspiration for 2014's Godzilla?
Yeah, you told me that when we were doing our research. Yeah, Dylan knew that. He's a big Godzilla aficionado, and it does make sense because it connects. Yes. Godzilla was a response to Pearl Harbor,
and the atomic bomb.
Hiroshima, Pearl Harbor, all those events going on. It was a response to Hiroshima and the U.S. and the United States getting involved in World War II. It was that response.
Yeah.
But it's really well done. It's very genius.
And it's fair. And I didn't even know that sort of statement also sort of collided beforehand with Iron Man 2, which I thought was very intriguing.
It definitely was, and it was very cool to see that something from Godzilla connects with a superhero.
Yes.
But yeah, that was genius, and I love that clip. It's really heartbreaking and just sad to see that clip.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy fell into depression, and I think he committed suicide because of it.
Yeah,
went to a spiraling depression.
It's depressing, and furthermore, wouldn't blame him. I mean, the atomic bomb is the deficient of death itself.
Exactly, and I love they used that whole element of weapons and how civilization can still repeat those mistakes, like with Iron Man, and also with fictional creatures like Godzilla. So
yeah, but that's for another time.
Exactly. So I think we pulled it off, Dylan. I think we did good on the trivia and the story. I mean, everyone's seen Iron Man. We give away spoilers on what happens and whatnot, but it was great to see Iron Man come back in the sequel, and Pepper Potts, and the lovely Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett and Gwyneth were very attractive women. Tony Stark was badass, kicked ass. He kicked ass. He took names. He knew he was boss, and he was just himself, and he was just a badass. And Mickey Rourke, a menacing guy, an evil person, and just really someone you don't want to fuck with. He is evil and just a killer to everything. He's just a mad man. And also Justin Hammer, what a freaking prick.
No shit. Oh, one last thing. Did I also forget to mention that the drones, part for like the army and the government, it also reminds me of how, yes, still, I think that the government is still thinking of trying to create their own Iron Man.
Exactly. It's like, a self-independent millionaire who has a corporation, he can't play God, but we can play God.
Yeah.
It's that line. It's that line of, morality and which side is right, which one's wrong. But I don't want to make a superhero film too complicated for you. No. But either way, Iron Man 2, it was a great revisit. Tony Stark did it. Both Gwyneth and Scarlett, executed their roles. They were very attractive and nicely done. Mickey Rourke as Whiplash, as Ivan, was just an evil, mad Russian. And everything going on with society against Tony Stark, such as the government and politicians and senators and media, and S.H.I.E.L.D., of course, really established more conflict of interest and more relationships and more things that we're going to see in Iron Man 3. I have not seen Iron Man 3, Dylan, but that's for another time. We still have Thor and then Captain America and so
Avengers, and then Iron Man 3.
Exactly, because I have not seen Iron Man 3 yet, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just excited with what they're doing. So yeah, Thor, man. Thank you, brother. This was great. I hope you guys like it. We do our best. We try to be as coherent and as professional as possible. So
yeah,
thank you very much. Iron Man 2. If you have not already, check it out. But if you want to revisit it again, go ahead. It's fantastic.
See ya. Iron Man out.
All right.